Once seen as the fated military giant of Europe, France is now staging a comeback so powerful, so calculated that it might just redefine the balance of power on the continent. For decades, critics scoffed at the French military machine, recalling rusty aircraft carriers, outdated tanks, and shrinking defense budgets. But behind closed doors, France has been planning something big, very big, and now the world is beginning to see it. Make no mistake, France isn't just modernizing, it's gearing up to become the most self-sufficient and expeditionary military force in Western Europe. It's not hype, it's happening, and it's happening fast. Let's rewind the clock. The glory days of France's global military dominance faded after World War II. While France maintained a nuclear arsenal and a decent military infrastructure, its focus shifted to diplomacy, the EU, and peacekeeping. The collapse of the Soviet Union seemed to confirm that the age of major power warfare was over. NATO handled the rest, and France was content to play a supporting role. But the 21st century had other plans. The 2015 Paris attacks were a wake-up call. Terrorism, instability in the Sahel, an increasingly aggressive Russia, China's naval expansion, a resurgent Middle East, and let's not forget NATO's slowly eroding cohesion. France looked around and realized, if you want peace, you better be ready to wage war. Enter President Emmanuel Macron's grand strategy to transform France into a global military power again, not just on paper, in reality, in firepower, in force projection. First came the cash. France ramped up its defense budget dramatically. From 2019 to 2025, military spending surged by over 35%, with annual defense allocations set to hit over $55 billion. Macron committed to reaching the NATO-recommended 2% of GDP by 2025 and staying there. And they weren't just throwing money around. Every euro had a mission, replacing aging Mirage jets with cutting-edge Rafales, expanding the Scorpion program to modernize ground forces with new armored vehicles like the Griffon and Jaguar, upgrading the Charles de Gaulle carrier while planning its nuclear-powered successor. France even invested in hypersonic weapons, space-based ISR systems, and armed mail drones. They're testing exoskeletons for infantry and researching autonomous battlefield robots. Meanwhile, France's special forces got a significant boost with training, tech, and teeth. Elite commandos have been spotted conducting exercises in Africa, the Arctic, and deep in the Mediterranean. Paris wasn't just preparing to defend its borders, it was preparing to project power from the Mediterranean to the Pacific. But here's where it gets serious. France didn't just modernize gear, it restructured doctrine. In 2021, the French military unveiled its new Warrior of the Future plan, focused on integrating AI, battlefield connectivity, and next-gen tactics. Think digitized battlefields, swarm-capable drones, cyber resilience, space defense, biometric combat interfaces, algorithms that map enemy behavior, augmented reality helmets that turn every squad into a reconnaissance unit. France even established a space command, because when you're serious about modern warfare, you aim above the stratosphere. As other NATO members hesitated, France went orbital. It also began rehearsing for the hard stuff, large-scale conflict, joint drills with allies, expeditionary readiness, Arctic warfare training, urban warfare simulations, massive joint naval exercises. And if you think they're just preparing for theoretical threats, look at the deployments. French troops are holding the line in the Sahel, guarding the Baltic and patrolling Indo-Pacific waters alongside US and Japanese ships. France is back, and it's not asking for permission. This transformation didn't happen in a vacuum. France's return to military relevance is deeply tied to its strategic vision. The French believe Europe must learn to defend itself. Macron has said it plainly, Europe can no longer rely solely on the US for security. Autonomy isn't a luxury anymore, it's a necessity. In response, France launched the European Intervention Initiative, bringing together European nations ready to deploy together quickly. It's not about undermining NATO, it's about realism. The EI2 doesn't wait for bureaucracy, it acts. France also aims to secure its vast overseas territories, stretching from the Caribbean to the South Pacific. With over 1.6 million French citizens living in these zones, Paris treats them like home soil. That's why it's establishing a stronger naval and air presence in the Indian Ocean and ramping up Pacific partnerships. Guam isn't the only Western outpost with teeth. And then there's the nuclear wild card. France remains the only EU country with an independent nuclear deterrent, 4 ballistic missile submarines, air-launched cruise missiles, and a doctrine that leaves room for strategic ambiguity. In short, France has options, and it's not afraid to use them. Fast forward to 2025, and the results are undeniable. France has become NATO's operational spearhead in Europe. Its rapid reaction forces are some of the fastest in the alliance. Its cyber command is one of the most advanced, and its defense industry, thriving. France isn't following trends, it's setting them. Companies like Dassault, Naval Group, and Nexter are exporting globally. Rafale jets are in demand from India to the UAE. French-made submarines are making waves in Southeast Asia. Even Germany is buying French military satellites. And that's not just profit, that's soft power. That's diplomatic capital you can launch from a runway or submerge under a contested sea. But this isn't just about France's place in Europe, it's about shaping the next era of conflict. France is developing swarming drone fleets, directed energy weapons, and AI-assisted logistics. Paris isn't looking to win the last war, it's preparing for the next one where battles may be fought with code as much as bullets. Even its military education is evolving. The prestigious École de Guerre now emphasizes joint operations, disinformation tactics, and hybrid warfare. French generals are reading Clausewitz and coding Python. Colonels discuss geopolitics and machine learning in the same breath. Future battles may be waged by officers who think like engineers and act like warriors. The strategic implications are profound. France's resurgence changes the calculus in Moscow, Ankara, and Beijing. For Russia, a more muscular France reinforces NATO's Eastern Front. For China, it means an unwelcome Western presence in the Indo-Pacific. For North Africa and the Sahel, it's a stabilizing, if controversial, force. France has replaced colonial legacy with strategic reach. And for Europe, it's a much-needed insurance policy. Because in a world where alliances are shifting and the US is looking inward, France is stepping up as the continent's de facto military spine. Is it enough? That remains to be seen. Power isn't just about tanks and jets. It's about political will, staying power, the ability to act decisively when others hesitate. France is betting it has both. France's massive military comeback isn't just a reaction to global threats. It's a declaration of intent that Europe will not be caught off guard again, that France, once mocked for military stagnation, is once again a force to be reckoned with. So the next time someone says, France has gone soft, remind them of the nuclear submarines, the Rafale flyovers, the troops on 4 continents, the Space Command staring down satellites, the Cyber Command warding off invisible wars, and ask, is this what soft looks like? Because if France is back, then the rest of the world better pay attention. And maybe start upgrading their own defense budgets while they're at it.